Hi everyone, today we're going to be looking at how we calculate the long side, which is called our hypotenuse, on a right angle triangle using Pythagoras. So in order to do that, first step is always to write our formula. So the formula is c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared. Okay, and now what we're going to do is on our picture we're going to label our sides, which one's a, which one's b, and which one's c. So our long side, which is our hypotenuse, is always c because it's the longest one. And if you think about it, if these guys, when they're squared, are adding up to this one, it makes sense that the longest one is going to be c. So this is our c. Okay, now we're going to go ahead and label the other two. And now with Pythagoras, it actually doesn't matter which one's a and which one's b. The only one that really matters that you label correctly is c. Okay, so I might call this one a and I might call this one b. Or it could be the other way around for these two. Doesn't really matter. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these values into my formula. So I'm going to substitute them into my formula. So c in this question is m, and it's going to be squared, is equal to, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write the shell of the formula in black, and everywhere I'm putting in a value from my picture, I'm going to use blue, so just so that you can see that I'm taking it from my picture over here. So it's c squared, but c in our picture is called m squared, is equal to a squared, and a is 6, so it's going to be 6 squared, 6 squared plus b squared, and b here is 4, so it's going to be 4 squared. Okay, great. And now it's very important to remember that we always do our squares first. I'm not going to be adding these guys together and then squaring it because I'll get a totally different number. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going 6 squared and then 4 squared, and then I'll add them together next. So m just stays as m squared. I can't really do anything else to square it. Whereas here I've got 6 squared. So 6 squared means 6 times 6, which is 36. And then I've got 4 squared, 4 fours are 16. Okay, cool. So I've squared my numbers, and now I'm going to add them together. So this again stays as m squared, 36 plus 16, 6 and 6 is 2, and then 3 plus 1, and then 1 from the 16 makes 5. So it becomes 52. Okay, cool. So it tells me that m squared is equal to 52, but I don't want m squared, I want m just on its own. So I need to figure out a way to get rid of this little squared symbol here. I need to do the opposite of what is happening here. So I need to square root, because square rooting is the opposite of squaring something. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going square root of this side and square root of this side. And what that will look like is m is equal to the square root of 52. And now, sometimes a question will ask you to leave it in surd form, leave your answer in surd form, and that's what this is, surd form, okay, because it's got a square root in there. And other times you'll be asked to solve the question to however many decimal places. So imagining that this question asked us to solve it to, say, 2 decimal places, we'd get out our calculator, and in our calculator, we would do square root, which looks like that, and then we go square root of 52, and then we get our answer. So, m is equal to 7.21 to 2 decimal places. Awesome, and that is how we calculate our long side using Pythagoras.